Hey YouTube land, Tycondrius here, coming at you with another action figure Batman 66 figure line, or figure review. And today we're having a look. She's a slightly older release. She, I believe, is still 2023 at the time of this recording. Anyway, if you're watching this many moons down the line, then it will be a different year. But if I recall, she was a either Walmart or Target exclusive in the States, and I ended up having to get this particular figure from eBay, and I paid a little bit over the odds for it. I didn't pay too much for her over the odds, because initially when she came out she was very hard to get and people were way jacking up the prices on her on eBay, but I managed to pick her up for about a tenner more than she normally goes for in retail. So I believe normally these retail for about $20 thereabouts, maybe a little less. I'm pretty sure they're around the $20 mark now, and I paid a little bit more than that for her. So, but like when they first came out and she was really hard to get, people were looking for anywhere between 60 to 80 for her, and I was not wanting to pay that, even though it's a really cool figure. But we'll get into that in a minute. So I'm going to quickly go through the packaging. Now, I did go through packaging on the Superman figure, so if you've seen that video, this is pretty much the same thing. It's just saying that between the first and second wave releases, they did slightly alter the boxes. So instead of saying Batman Classic TV Series, it now says Batman 66. So that is really the only alteration on the front of the box. And then on the back of the boxes, where you normally had the Batmobile image with the Batcave, which is the figure version of it, they replace it with a comic book illustration, because these are based on the comic book, or at least this particular figure is based on the comic book illustration of the character as opposed to the TV series version of the character. And we'll get into that in a little bit, but for now we'll just move the boxes out of the way and bring in the figure. And she does come with two accessories. The accessories on this particular figure, one of which is one of my nitpicks and bones of contention, but we'll have a look at that in a second. So height wise, she does stand just a tad under the 6-inch height, mainly because I'm assuming she's meant to be she around the teenage mark, and she was slightly older. I remember her being in school maybe in the TV series, so and again, being a female character, you know, she has to be smaller than the male characters kind of stuff. But if I bring in Burt Ward Boy Wonder, she's a little bit taller than him, so I think she was supposed to be older in the TV series if I remember correctly, and not the same age as old Dick Grayson. So, but I don't think there was much between them compared to herself and Batman. So I think she was closer to Robin's age than Batman's age. But then again, it's been a long time since I've seen that TV series. So, but getting on to her accessories. So she comes with two accessories. She comes with a bat grapple batarang, which I've been thinking about recently. I don't ever remember them using them as the batarangs like you see Batman in '89 using them to throw them at people. I always kind of remember them using them as the grapple hooks. I don't think they ever, I could be misthinking, but I don't remember them throwing them at anyone and knocking people out with them. So there is that, but it can be held in her one gripping hand. She does have, it looks like it's supposed to kind of hold in the center, but it doesn't have any grip on it. So you kind of have to get it into the side, and she will hold it. She will hold it if she doesn't drop it on screen for me, but she does hold it. It's a very loose fit. You can see it wobbles and falls out. Unfortunately, her left hand is the classic punchy hand that they like to do on these figures. Now, I get the idea behind it, because the whole kapow punch kind of thing. She doesn't come with those air quotey kind of punching things like the other figures did. She has her own unique accessories. I believe she was one of the first ones to have the unique accessory set. I think herself, maybe Mr. Freeze. I might be misremembering, but I know Superman doesn't have it, she doesn't have it, and some of the newer figures like Joker Man, Lord Death, is it Lord Death? Or Death Lord, or whatever his name is, and that Bat Robot, they don't have the air quote punches. So, but she is nicely done. On to her second accessory. Now, this is the one that I think is a bit of a letdown on this figure. It is a cool accessory, don't get me wrong. She comes with bat cuffs, so she can hold the bat cuffs in her hand, which isn't too bad. That's not the bad side of these. The downside of these bat cuffs is they are completely non-functional, so you can't open the cuffs to put around the wrists of any of the bad guys. And if you have any of the bad guys, if I can grab, who did I bring over? I have Joker. Any of the bad guys, the hoop on the center is way too small for anyone's hands to reach through it. Would have been nice if they made them out of a more pliable, stretchy material, so you could stretch it over them. Because even her own hands, her own wrists being slimmer and more feminine, you can't even get them over that. So figures like Catwoman, you can't, even though Catwoman's hands are all outstretched anyway, you can't use them as their intended purposes. They're only, unfortunately, for show, which is kind of a shame. I know it's not a big nitpick, but it is kind of a shame that she can't use them in the kind of capacity. He could have some good dioramas with her hauling away bad guys in bat cuffs, or even Batman using the bat cuffs on some of the bad guys. I know they're in purple plastic, like her suit is, but you could get away with it, even if you had an extra pair of them and you painted them green or blue to match Batman's. You could use them as that. But onto her design. So her design is based off the comic. Now, the reason behind this, as I believe, and it's the common rumor or the reasoning around the internet why they did it this way, is because they couldn't get the likeness rights for Yvonne Craig, who was the original actress who portrayed Batgirl in the TV series. So they opted to go with a design based on the comic to get around that kind of, it was a loophole to get the figure done, which is a kind of, it's nice, but a kind of a shame in the same, at the same point, that the, you know, given the late actress's estate, basically funding money towards the likeness rights would have been kind of nice. So it does kind of have a look of her, but it's not dead 100%. Now, the head is on a ball joint, but because of the hair, it does tend to get in the way. She can kind of look up and down a tiny bit, but the side to side, the sculpted hair does tend to get in the way. Her arms can go out that much. She does have the standard kind of rotating shoulder with the hinge. She has a rotating elbow with a single hinge, so she can get over just around a 90-degree bend on both elbows. She has wrist swivels. Again, punching fist on left, grasp on the right, which is not too bad, but I would love if they started doing swappable hands. I know that would increase price point again, but it would be nice to have swappable hands for these figures, so you could have double grip hands. So eventually, if they do stuff like her bat cycle, which we don't know if they will or not, it could be on the cards, it would be nice to actually get one that she could actually sit and hold both handlebars with. She does have the waist swivel. She does have kick forward and back on the legs. So there is that. She has a single jointed knee with swivel. Now she does have boots, but her boots, oh yeah, she does have the pec holes on the bottom. There's nothing in the ankles. It is nice to note that her boots are a little bit slightly better than that of Catwoman's for standing. The heels, I found the heels on the back of Catwoman tiny. Now, they will stand, but like the slightest little tip and they'll either lob forward. Plus, the Catwoman legs kind of have to stand at a weird angle. If I just turn it around there, you kind of, it's like almost as if the knee is bent forward a bit, or the shin is kind of bent forward, so it does look kind of uncomfortable for them. If I maybe if I turn it a little bit more, you can see it. See what I mean? So it doesn't go straight down, it kind of curves, which looks very uncomfortable. So yeah, there is that. So she does stand quite nicely with other villain characters. There's Joker and the two Catwoman figures that they did based on Eartha Kitt and Julie Newmar. Here she is again with Robin. I'm gonna move Joker in here behind the two Catwomen so I can bring in the other crime fighting figure. Excuse me, what? The other crime fighter, or Caped Crusader, if I can get him to stand without falling over. Here is Adam West Batman. And then just for an extra one, because I did his review recently, and if you're watching this review in order sequence of me uploading, then we will get the Man of Steel in behind her as well, which would be totally overpowered for any of the villains to have to deal with. So she does look really cool on that. And one other thing, I'm going to move all these out of the way. Bear with me a second while I do that. For those, now I did put pictures of this up on Facebook and some of the groups I'm in. So if you have this Batcycle, I know it's not 100% to her actual one, but if you do have this Batcycle, you can get her to sit on it nicely enough. She does have that one grasp hand, so she can kind of grasp it. She does have that, so she doesn't look too bad on the... I remember her Batcycle on the show, if I remember correctly, has kind of a lace pattern going around the wing, or the bat wings on it, if I remember correctly. So now I'm not sure how easily this would be to remove. If you wanted to buy an extra one, remove all this and then repaint all this in the same purple that her uniform is, or her costume is in. But you can get her to sit nicely enough on the Batcycle. Again, the downside being she doesn't have the extra hand for grasping the extra handlebar, so you're going to be stuck with her just holding it one-handed. It's up to yourself. And I'm going to grab one other thing if I can without knocking everything over. I'm not going to dig out the Batmobile, but if you wanted her seated in the Bat boat, again, the one-hand punching thing will be an issue. But if you want her sitting in the Bat boat instead of having Batman and Robin driving the Bat boat, you can do so with ease. She's not too bad to fit in there. She can sort of grab the handlebar. You could have Robin sitting in the side of the Bat boat with her if you wanted. So it could be Batman's driving the Batmobile and he let her and Robin take the Batboat, whichever way you want to do it. Or, I know it makes no sense because he can fly, but if you wanted Superman in there, just because he fell next to me while I was hanging, you could have Superman and Batgirl cruising around on the Batboat. So, there you go, guys. Batgirl is a really good figure. It's just a shame that she's hard to get. Hopefully, maybe down the line, they might do some reissues. I know they're reissuing the original two Batman and Robin figures, so maybe down the line, we might get a reissue of Batgirl to make it easier for collectors who missed out on her in the first time around. But if not, you may have to go a third-party seller to get her to complete your collection, which is a shame because you're paying over the odds most of the time for her. But she's a good figure. I do recommend picking her up if you want to create that iconic dynamic trio that they had in the TV series. I just hope that at some point down the line that we will get an official Batgirl Batcycle, or is it Batgirl Cycle? Not sure which way it's done, but I do hope we get that at some point for her. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed me rambling and waffling on, and I look at a few different vehicles that you can have her sitting in. And as always, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and please share the video with friends if you can, and see if we can get more hits and subscribers for my channel. So cheers guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you all have a nice day. Cheers.